what makes the heart work, what makes it understand and function properly. And we say that things are known by their opposites. So what Imam al-Ghazali will focus on really is what makes it fail to work, what makes the heart unable to understand. And this is, inshallah, a synopsis of chapters 6 and 7, 34 to 50. And inshallah, tomorrow we want to look at chapters 7 to 8, which will be 45 to 56. The heart is often spoken of as a mirror. And this is one of the chief metaphors that Imam al-Ghazali uses, and it's the one that he focuses on here. So the heart will reflect what you put in front of it. And in that reflection, it reflects reality. It has the potential to reflect reality as it truly is. And the heart will do that naturally if it's intact. But we'll see today that there are a number of things that can happen to the heart, even if it's pure, that make it impossible for it to give that right reflection. All knowledge can be mirrored in the heart. And all knowledge can also be blocked from it. It needs to have the right conditions. But we emphasize again that the mirror of your heart is meant to work. There's nothing wrong with it. When it does work, then we are healthy and we are happy. When it does not work, then we are not happy. And in fact, that opens the door to sicknesses. When it truly works, it reflects reality as it is. And it tells us about the self, it tells us about the world we live in, and it tells us about God, the greatest of all beings. Again, as we said last time, the heart attaches, it latches on. It latches on to the things that we put before it, and for that reason, Imam al-Ghazali will emphasize now that you have to put the right things before it. You have to use your knowledge and use your intellect to put before it the kind of things that it will benefit from latching onto and grow. Imam al-Ghazali then he speaks of the fact that truths and realities are images. In a way, this is a metaphor. In other words, he wants to speak of the heart as a mirror. And so therefore he will speak of truths and realities as images or objects that can be reflected in the mirror. However, like other examples that we've had before, he's not really just giving us a metaphor. Sometimes he will do that. For example, he gives us, when he talks about the proper ordering of the self, he has a number of metaphors which I actually forgot to present. But he will say that when we are sound in our heart, then we are like a hunter who has a riding horse and a hunting dog. And the rider is your heart and your intellect that is in charge of your appetite and your anger. And your appetite, all these passions that we have, they're like the horse. And the hunting dog is the anger. So if we are in control of all of those properly, then we can really hunt. The horse will obey us, the horse will run for us, the horse will help us in the hunt. Intelligent horses do that. They can often think much better than we can. And the dog will also obey us and get the prey and bring the prey to us. So that was a metaphor. But here, the image that the words that he's using are not really just metaphors, because Imam al-Ghazali believes that, in fact, all realities, all truths in the universe are embodied in archetypes. And these archetypes are, you could say, celestial forms. They are angelic forms that embody the truths of all things. So the pig, for example, is an animal that we know, but it also is an archetype. And the dog, the vicious dog, is an animal, but it is also an archetype, and so forth. So archetypes are very important. And what he's saying is that all truths and all realities have archetypes. They reflect forms, celestial forms. And this is one of the ways that the inner world dominates the outward world. And the angelic realm relates to the earthly realm. And this is a very valuable type of knowledge. And perhaps we can talk about it more if we have time for that. So he says that everything known, everything worth knowing, has an ultimate reality. It has a haqiqah, an ultimate reality that it is rooted in and that it reflects. And every ultimate reality, every haqiqah, has a surah. It has a form, which we can call, as we just did, a celestial form or an archetype. And all of these archetypes, all of these realities and these images can be reflected properly in the human heart. That's the way we apprehend them. We apprehend them by seeing what our heart reflects to us. And in fact, in the human heart, the reality of these forms and these archetypes, the truth of things as they really are, it becomes clear. Okay, so this is then the heart's special aptitude, that it can receive knowledge. And again, he's going to say, actually, it does that in archetypical terms. Okay? And we can also talk about it in terms that might be more familiar to us, like words and definitions and cognitive frames and paradigms. But that's all part of a continuum. Then the highest part of that continuum are actual archetypes. A sheep, for example, is an archetype. It's also one of the great gifts that Allah gave us. But on the day of judgment, when Allah dispenses with death and the soul will never die again, then death is brought in front of us like a sheep, right? A ram, and it is sacrificed. And this reflects the archetypical nature of the ram or of the sheep. And then also we have a lot of things we're told about in the prophetic legacy, the Antichrist, for example, and Gog and Magog, and other things. And when you read about them, they're very strange. Things are said about them that don't really fit with the concrete reality that you and I are used to. Also, you have Dhul Qarnayn, the great conqueror. Okay, so he is real, and he is in probably prehistory. And the Antichrist is real, and he is at the end of the world. And he will come at the time when Jesus comes back to the world and when the Muslims are blessed with the Mahdi. Okay? And then after that comes Gog and Magog. So when we read about these things, often they're very strange, but that's because of the fact that at the end of time, archetypical reality takes over customary reality. That all happens when the sun rises from the west, for example. So the world doesn't work the same anymore. The natural order, we believe in modern science in the uniformity of nature. That's just a belief. Nature can be uniform, but it doesn't have to be. It can also change. So archetypes are very important. And like in the history of human beings, you have people who are antichrists, like Nero, the Roman emperor. But he's not the antichrist, but he's a reflection of the archetype. Just as, for example, if we look at the monoculture today, the way it uses television and the internet and all these different things, it has certain antichrist-like features. And some people might even say it is the Antichrist. No, it's not. It is a very strong reflection of the archetype of the Antichrist. Okay, so this is a very important aspect of the way we conceive of reality. This is part of the structure of reality as we conceive of it. And it's extremely rich. It's extremely beneficial. But we shouldn't belabor that much longer because we won't be able to get to our lesson. Okay, but you have the aptitude to understand images. This is khayal. This is one of your inner gifts, and it's a gift of the heart. And you can go amazing places with that, more than you can go with your intellect. All right? The heart is the seat of this knowledge. And it is that in us which truly knows, that receives knowledge. It comes to know when the likeness of the things known are mirrored in it properly. Okay, that when it receives the images of things, and that's also the names of things, we have to be very careful about the language we use, the cognitive frames, the paradigms, when they are reflected in it properly. So here Imam al-Ghazali talks about the hand, the sword, and taking the sword in hand. This is a figure of speech that he uses. So first of all, you have the knower. And the knower is the hand that will take the sword. And the knower in this case is the healthy heart, which is the seat of knowledge. Okay, and it has the ability to receive the knowledge and to compute the knowledge and to benefit from the knowledge and to let others benefit from it too. And then you have the sword. And the sword is the things known, the images received, the correct ideas and cognitive frames and paradigms. The things known are and he means by this the ultimate realities of things as they truly are in the objective world. This is the way that we speak about reality, and we've talked about that before. Today, in modern discourse, many people, especially non-Muslims, but a lot of Muslims as well, would challenge that, because modernity and post-modernity are very much based on the notion that there is nothing objective. There is no truth out there that you and I can talk about in any meaningful cognitive way. Rather, it's just your impression, your relative feeling, and your language is also arbitrary, although language is one of the greatest gifts of all. And so then you have taking the sword in hand, and this is the act of knowing. And this is when knowledge is received, when we perform the act of knowing by receiving objective images of the realities of things as they truly are, and we imprint them on their heart. Okay, so this is the way he speaks of that, taking the sword in hand. You have the hand, which is here the heart. You have the sword, which is the reception of the knowledge that the heart can receive, and then you have the fact that the heart actually receives that, and it stores that, and it processes it. So taking the sword in hand is the act of knowing, and this is the ultimate purpose of the heart. Knowledge is a great thing. Okay, we all have hearts. The world around us is filled with truth and with truths and with signs and signals of truth, and the ultimate reality but these ultimate realities often go unperceived. They often don't affect the heart at all. So, Imam al-Ghazali also speaks to the fact that this ability of the heart to receive knowledge and to know it, this is the praiseworthy, lordly element that is within us, and that this is also tantamount to the amana, to the trust that God took from us. You know, that we have these hearts that can do everything that God wills that we do. And we are able to fulfill the trust because of these hearts, even though, as the question brought to light in the last session, this is not an easy process. And we need to have community in this. And we need to have continuity in this. And we need to have knowledge and spiritual guides. And we have to help each other. But we can definitely do that. We are created to fulfill the trust, not to break it. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Ahzab, which is Surah number 33, verse number 72, إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ والجبال على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان. So he says that the trust, the amana, was offered to the heavens in all their perfection. They are one of the signs of the perfection of creation, the flawlessness of creation, and the earth, which is the place where you have imperfection with perfection, and the mountains, but they refused it. They refused to carry it, and they were filled with anxiety about it. They didn't want to carry it, but the human being carried it. The human being adopted it. So this verse indicates that the human being has the distinctive quality that